obviously yesterday, if you guys watched the show, we had a clip of Hillary Clinton just melting down over the most random thing. Like, someone's taking a picture of me while there's a video camera recording me. Oh no, I'm so super offended by the picture. But while we were taping the show yesterday, they had the Clintons testifying, the footage. They were like all releasing all at once. So we didn't get a chance to go through all of it. But we did now. We've had 24 hours. And I have some thoughts. I have some takeaways from this, okay? For starters, Bill Clinton is old. And he looks it, okay? Bill Clinton looks very old. However, he is 4 years younger than Joe Biden, which is wild to me. And there's a lot of good clips in the testimony. So remember, in his opening statement, he was, which we already saw, we already had the written statement. He was, he was saying a lot of things that we all know is probably not true, right? So he was like, first, I had no idea of the crimes Epstein was committing. No matter how many photos you show me, I have two things that at the end of the day matter more than your interpretation of those 20-year-old photos. Remember, he is trying to create a whole lot of distance between the photos that were taken of him and young girls, which we know because they blacked out the faces. So it's like Bill Clinton swimming with Ghislaine and woman whose face is redacted, which means she was a minor. I mean, we could go on, right? The point is, he's already in his opening statement trying to create the separation so that when you look at the photo of Bill Clinton doing some weird things with young girls, you don't go, wow, that's really strange. That seems bad. You're like, oh, it's 20 years old. It's fine. Because apparently, I guess like 20 years ago, we didn't frown on sex trafficking of young minors. Like, Bill, doesn't matter if it was 20 years ago or 50 years ago, it's still bad. But he brought up the photos. So they actually decided to show him some of the photos of his time with Epstein during the testimony. And as I pointed out to you, I'm just going to let you watch this one more time. He is having quite the time reliving his past experience with Epstein. And by the way, as you'll see, all of it was really good because it brings a smile to his face. He's reminiscing, I guess, purportedly about all of his time with the young girls on the island and the Lolita Express. He's very fond of these memories with Jeffrey Epstein. Watch. This old man panting. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The lawyer's like, Bill, hey, give those back. Let me see. I was looking at those. He's so old. He's like, ooh, she was a good one. Yep, remember that. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that was a good one.
Mr. President, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour.
Look at him. He is like, boy, those were the good old days. Oh, man, you could just get on the Lolita Express and go to the Epstein Island and all your worries will just melt away. That is not, to me, not the vibes you want to be giving when you're being questioned about your involvement with a known sex trafficker of young girls. Probably not the look that you want to give. And it's very interesting because he's looking at these pictures like, I don't know, JB Pritzker looks at a donut or a Big Mac or insert high calorie food here. Speaking of, now that I think of it, I think the only high-ranking Democrat that hasn't been screaming from the hills to release the Epstein files, at least to my knowledge, you guys let me know in the comments if I'm missing something here, it's JB Pritzker, because, well, I think we know now, Bill Clinton just ratted him out as having flown on Epstein's plane, the Lolita Express. Oopsies.
You apparently took 26 flights on planes connected to Jeffrey Epstein. When you took these flights, you're saying a lot of them were on behalf of your foundation or your charitable work, correct?
Yes.
Who did you normally bring on these flights?
And I had the Secret Service with me. And then on occasion, I had people who had volunteered to help us and wanted to see what we were doing. Right. For example, I think it was on one of these trips, I think, that I had my first trip for the man who's now the governor of Illinois, JB Pritzker, and his wife. They helped me get started.
Ooh. I think JB Pritzker could have, he's like, you didn't have to remember that nugget, Bill. You said, I think so many times. Maybe if you weren't sure, you could have just kept your damn mouth shut, JB Pritzker's thinking. Why did you have to bring my name into this? I had done so well, just keeping my name out of it. And Bill Clinton's like, actually, let me tell you how JB Pritzker is tied to Jeffrey Epstein. Like, wow. Now, it gets worse for Bill Clinton because not only is JB Pritzker probably really, really pissed off at him, he claimed while under oath, like you couldn't even make this up. Bill Clinton claimed while under oath that he never has lied while under oath, which is very interesting when we just revisit some of Bill Clinton's very famous history. Let's listen to Bill Clinton say, no, I have never lied under oath. Nope, not a thing that I have done. Watch.
First question I have for you, Mr. President. Have you ever lied in a deposition?
No.
Have you ever lied while under oath?
No.
I think what he meant was, no, I've never lied while under oath, except for the time that I was impeached for lying under oath about having an affair with my intern, Monica Lewinsky. That must have been what he meant. He was like, oh, there's an asterisk there. Have I ever lied under oath? No, asterisk, except for that one time that I was impeached for lying under oath about having a sexual relationship with my staffer.
Well, they didn't ask what the definition of is.
They didn't. They didn't.
Oh, you forgot.
You're right. It depends on what the definition of is. How could I know? Wait, does oral count? Anyway, you get where I'm going, right? Like, that is not a good look. Is Bill Clinton really so old? I mean, he looks very old and fragile and like he's got the goofy old man like weirdness going on and his hands are shaking. But like, do you really reach a point in your life? What did that say he was? 79 years old. Do you really reach a point in your life where you actually forget that you were a president who was impeached for lying under oath about the affair that you had in the Oval Office with your staffer? Like, I feel like that would have to be the very last memory to go. Like that would have to be if you had dementia and you were old and you were like sundowning and you were slowly the memories were just leaving your body. That must be like the last one to leave your body, you would think. But he's never lied under oath. He said while lying under oath. Now, that aside, he was also grilled about what Epstein meant about liking them young when he talked about this. And there was another like oopsies, I guess, from Bill Clinton here. Watch.
Epstein said, you quote, like them young. Why would Epstein say that about you?
Are you asking his opinion? You're asking him to think about why Mr. Epstein would say something about him?
Why would Epstein say that about the
president? She's asking you to try to be in Mr. Epstein's mind and guess at what Mr. Epstein would have thought about.
Clinton likes them young, referring to girls.
First of all, that's not true.
What's not true?
That I have any interest in underage.
I didn't say underage, I said young.
But it's still not true.
Is an intern young?
Oh.
Yes.
Here's where he's wrong. There's not a male doesn't exist who's like, nope, actually, I only like them old. That's it. Joke's on you. I don't like them young, only like them old. Like, that's not how males work. So it's not even believable that he'd be like, no, I like them ancient. Just like my wife, Hillary Clinton. I would never think of another woman like that. Come on. You literally had multiple affairs on your wife with young women. Just admit it. This is a defensive person. This is a man who's very, very defensive. I wonder why. I mean, psychology would tell you that you're defensive when you're guilty. You get like extra defensive as some people's defense mechanism. They get way too extra defensive. They're like, no, that's not true. No, I've been liking old women my whole life. Even when I was 18, I only liked 50-year-olds. That's not true. Like, whoa, sir, that seems really weird. We were just asking if you liked young women. Clearly you have a track record. It's very odd behavior, Bill. Now, there were a lot of questions also about why Ghislaine Maxwell was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Remember, Hillary was like, well, she was just someone's guest. She was someone's plus one. I don't know. I didn't know. Ghislaine who? But Bill Clinton didn't do his answer to that question. He did not do Hillary any favors in squaring that one up. Watch.
During Ms. Maxwell's interview, she stated that President Clinton was her friend, not Epstein's friend. Is that accurate?
I'd say that it was accurate to say that I felt closer to her than to him.
And for the record, why was that?
Because I had seen her more and because she was very good friends with Evelyn Rothschild and his wife Lynn, whom I knew and was in regular touch with.
Uh-oh. Well, that's not like she was just a plus one. I had no idea she was going to be there, never talked to the woman before. I don't even know how to pronounce her name. Bill's like, actually, we were all very close, actually. We all had the Rothschild family in common, which is a whole nother thing to get into. Now, what I personally loved was that within this entire story, I mean, remember, these people are actually testifying in front of Congress because the Democrats decided that they were going to go all in with the Epstein files because they thought when Donald Trump's DOJ, when Pam Bondi bungled the release of the Epstein files, and she did, it was just a disaster that didn't have to be. It was a completely unforced error. When she bungled the release of the Epstein files, the Democrats said, oh, here's our moment. Donald Trump must be in them. He's guilty. That's why they're not doing it. Now, keep in mind, if they had more than two brain cells to rub together, they would have thought a little bit longer than 5 seconds and gone, oh, if he were in the Epstein files, they would have released that under Joe Biden because they tried to ruin his whole life. They tried to kill him. They tried to throw him in prison. Obviously, if there was something there, they would have already released it. Clearly, there's not, but Democrats they're not smart, okay? So they're thinking, oh, we got him. We got to release the files. We have to have this testimony on Capitol Hill. Everyone is going to go down. And in fact, the only recurring theme with the Epstein files from literally everyone that they've talked to, including the victims, is that President Trump seems to be the one person in the entire world who nobody ever saw him do anything wrong. They didn't see him with the young girls. They didn't see how Jeffrey Epstein hated him. Mike Johnson says Donald Trump was an FBI informant against Epstein. It is so funny that the one thing that everyone, Democrat and Republican, can agree on is that Donald Trump did nothing wrong, including Bill Clinton yesterday when these were released. Watch.
I hate this, but because I don't believe I should inject anything. But I do not want to leave the impression, but since there was no follow-up question, the president never, this is 20-something years ago, never said anything to me to make me think he was involved in anything improper with regard to Epstein either. He just didn't. That's the truth. As I said earlier, the The only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
God, can you imagine the ass whipping that he got from Hillary that night? She's like, did you really have to say he didn't do anything wrong? You could have just you didn't have to highlight that, Bill. Did you really have to, my mortal enemy, and you had to just go out there and be like, by the way, Donald Trump, totally innocent with regard to Epstein. You just had to do it. Like, she must have been sobbing in her wine all night. And me personally, I love to see it.